Hi, this week I want to talk to you about foods that you love that might not love you back. You might not have ever heard it said like that, but chances are that if you're watching this, there is one thing that you've eaten and you think, that just doesn't agree with me. And so I think that there's a fair number of people that are lucky enough to have identified foods that they just know don't work for them, whether it's a dairy product or wheat products or it can be a number of things. And that's the fun of us all being so different, is that the things that work for one person don't always work for another person. So maybe you have known of people that have food allergies. Those are people that, we think of the kids that eat the peanuts. That is like the quintessential food allergy that is terrifying if you are a parent and you have one of those kids, where your kid gets a hold of a peanut and it's an immediate reaction, and it's pretty severe and it's pretty immediate. So we have those kind of reactions to foods, and we also have them to environmental allergens, things like molds and pollens and those kinds of things. So when you have that reaction going on, it's something that you usually know about because it's so immediate and it's such a big problem. But what about things that don't necessarily show up? They're not good for you, but you wouldn't know it until 72 hours later. I don't know about you, but I don't remember what I had for breakfast today a lot of times. I'm certainly not going to think back and go, oh, for lunch on Saturday, I ate a green bean and then I had a stomach ache on Sunday night. And, I'm just probably not going to associate it with that. But food sensitivities are similar to a true allergy in the sense that they create an immune reaction. It's just a matter of degrees. It's not as severe, for example, as a true allergy, but it still causes a problem that ramps up your immune system and can cause anything from headaches. I've seen it cause headaches, breathing problems. It can be a trigger for autoimmune conditions. And the reason that happens is because a lot of people have gut dysfunction in general. The lining of their gut is not intact like it should be. It's not tightly sealed. And if you've heard the term leaky gut or intestinal permeability, that is what I'm talking about there. And so you've got that going on. And then we've got these food triggers that these proteins in some kinds of food will leak through the leaky wall of the intestines, and they will create an immune response. And that immune response starts to look like, they will break down something and it looks like a pancreas, or it looks like your joints, or it looks like your thyroid. And then that's, in some cases, the start of your autoimmune condition. That's the trigger. And so obviously food sensitivities, in addition to the obvious things like, troubles with your gut, like bloating, diarrhea, constipation, the obvious things, headaches, breathing, autoimmune conditions, all of those things are linked to, or can be linked to food sensitivity. So, and those kinds of symptoms are the kinds of things that really rob your life and leave you going, I'm cranky, I don't feel like hanging out with people, I don't feel like taking good care of my family, I just want to take a nap, I've gained weight, I'm foggy headed, I don't have energy, those kinds of things. And those are really, they steal your joy. And they're just, quite honestly, they're a bigger problem than most people realize. And there are a couple of different things that you can do to figure out whether or not you're eating foods that bother you. The first is something called an elimination diet. It involves a journal and keeping track of everything you eat for about a month and trying to figure out what's causing the problem. And on paper, this looks like a great idea, and I always tell my clients about it. But in reality, the implementation of that is very tedious, and a lot of people just lose steam and they don't get any value because they just don't want to keep a food journal. The other thing you can do is you can use a heart rate variability and measure your heart rate variability in response to the food you're eating. And while that is, again, on paper looks like a great solution, the implementation of that is a little bit tricky as well. So most people will find that having their blood drawn or using a finger stick variety of the test will give them all the benefits without having them keeping journals and trying to remember to do things and track things. So anyway, I hope that gives you a little bit of food for thought. I see all kinds of problems stemming from people's, they're just eating things that, like I said, foods that they love but don't love them back. So if you have any questions about that, just post a comment or something and I'll do my best to answer it. Thank you.